One of the most important lessons that I've learned over the last 13 years as a trader is that separating your emotions from your trading does not necessarily make you a better trader. Today, I want to share with you my personal journey of how I was able to get control over my emotions so that I'm able to use my emotions in order to serve my trading as opposed to being ruled by my emotions. There's a common misconception in the world of finance that making decisions, whether investing or trading, based off of emotions typically leads to poor outcomes. And the reason for this is when people get emotional, typically, you tend to make decisions out of fear, or anger. And whenever you do that, you obviously don't have the best judgment in that moment, and therefore, typically, your decision doesn't produce a good outcome. So you apply that logic to trading. Obviously, with the markets moving around so much, it's so easy to get caught up in what's happening and get into anger or fear or whatever. And then you make a decision that's based on your emotional state, which typically isn't good. And then you have a poor outcome. So a lot of this has led to this typical colloquial understanding that, well, you can't have emotions when you're trading, because obviously if you have emotions when you're trading, they're going to be bad emotions. And if they're going to be bad emotions, it's going to lead to bad outcomes. So I want to share about how you can actually take your emotions and separate kind of the bad stuff that comes from being angry or fearful and keep the good emotions that can actually help you to make better decisions as a trader. So instead of removing your emotions completely from your trading, you can actually use the good part of your emotions in order to better your decision making and ultimately keep more money in your pocket. I like to take the example of working out in the gym, right? So you start a workout plan and maybe you're not 100% sure what the right form is to how to do a certain exercise. And let's say you start doing an exercise with the wrong form, you're going to start to feel some pain. Naturally, when you feel that pain, your natural response shouldn't be to just ignore it and just separate your pain from your workout, because if you did that, you'd end up really hurting yourself. So instead, what should you do if you start to feel pain during a workout? Well, obviously you stop, you make a correction, and you continue to work out, but instead you change whatever you were doing in order for you not to feel pain anymore. When you do that, you get a better workout, you don't feel as fatigued, and you actually want to come back for more. This is exactly the same logic that we should use when we apply our emotions to our trading. Now notice, getting your fear and anger or those negative emotions under control doesn't necessarily mean separating your emotions from trading entirely. It just means that sometimes we have a little bit too much of it in that moment, and by using the proper channels, we can mitigate the effects of that anger or fear in the moment while still maintaining our understanding that, okay, I don't want to take this trade of this sizing because, yeah, if I lose this amount of money, that could really hurt. So it's not so much separating as it is a balancing act of mitigating those emotions when they don't serve you. So similar to the example of working out in the gym, what we want to do is we want to get a sense of where we start to feel angry, where we start to feel pain, where we start to get fearful. And instead of saying, okay, I need to completely ignore that because that's a foolish emotion that doesn't belong in trading, instead of saying that, let's instead say, okay, I'm feeling angry. Maybe it's time for me to stop. This is where currently my mind is able to handle a certain kind of loss or a certain kind of market swing. Now, in the future though, it doesn't mean that we should still be okay with getting angry in that moment, but it does mean that as of right now, that's where our pain point is, and that's totally okay. Using your emotions to get a sense of where your pain point is right now, and then saying, okay, I need to expand my abilities to handle more fluctuations from here, that's a very different mindset than saying I need to separate my emotions completely, because the latter just basically says, okay, the only reason I'm feeling angry is because I can't control. I need to separate my emotions. The only reason I'm upset right now is because I need to separate my emotions. If I'm feeling upset or feeling pain, that's completely counterproductive. I need to completely separate that. And that's not true, because what can happen if you completely devoid your emotions from trading is you could get in the position where you're saying, okay, I'm starting to sweat a little bit at a $5,000 loss. Well, I can't sweat right now, and that's a stupid emotion, so I'm going to put it aside. So now you double down, and now you're like, okay, now you're at a $10,000 loss. And now you're saying, oh, okay, well, now I'm feeling even more pain, but again, separate my emotions from trading. And then all of a sudden you find yourself yourself in a position where you have lost more money than you are comfortable with losing, even on a logical basis. But because you didn't listen to your emotions, you weren't able to stop. And that's the key difference between somebody who uses their emotions productively in trading as opposed to somebody who says, I'm not going to listen to my emotions at all. I'm just going to continue trading. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a hole that you would have never been okay with finding yourself in, even on your best day. So again, it's a fine line, but one of the biggest litmus tests I can say for you, if you're somebody who's getting a little bit angry in the moment about a trade, stop, take a break. That's where your pain point is. That's where your form and your workout isn't good, and you don't want to keep going because you don't want to tear a muscle, or worse, get in a position where you can never work out again. In this case, never trade again. I've seen so many people blow out their accounts because they refused to stop when they knew they were getting to a point where they couldn't handle it anymore. That's the key difference between just ignoring your emotions and actually using your emotions to help you get a stopping point so that you can return and then work on that stopping point, increasing that stopping point so you can retain your logic without discarding your emotions. If you guys enjoyed what you heard here today, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're going to continue making more videos on trading psychology as we grow our channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anton Kulikov, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.